a week, and I'll take 2 pills.
Right.
You know, there would always be this reason why. It's because we need struggle, we need challenge.
Absolutely.
Financially, same thing. It's a cautionary tale of people who have won some kind of a lottery, right? Whether it's $500,000 or $5 million, whatever it is, and within 3 years, I think is the number. Within 3 years, they're dead broke again. In fact, even in more debt, because it was just given to them.
Yeah.
Now, if someone works to build $5 million, they take care of that money a lot differently.
Yeah, the value you put in what you've worked for.
Yeah, because you had to overcome. You had to wake up every day and overcome challenges and deal with heartache and deal with things you didn't want to have to deal with. So because of that, we mentally and emotionally are prepared for, hey, when I get to this point, I'm going to hold on to this tighter.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I don't let this thing go, because
it means something to you.
It means something.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's important. I think that's a very, very good point where, you know, if you're not working for something and it doesn't have value, and it's not measured by something like, you know, resistance or pain or something like where you feel like you have to put some effort into it. If it's not measured by that, then what is it worth?
Yeah.
You know, what is it worth? If you just stumbled on something and great, you got it now, but what is it worth? How was it given value to you?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, well, you have to question it.
Yeah, and there is no value at that point. You know, just because it's there doesn't mean it has value.
Yeah.
You know,
I like it. I wanted it.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing to balance that essence of it, well, then there's no value.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of that too. Even back, you know, when you're kids, right? If you have to do chores and mow lawns and do all these things to go get the bike that you want, you take care of that bike.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, the bike shows up one day because you asked for it. Man, you trash that thing. A lot of times, the first day you wreck that thing.
Yeah.
And it's because in your mind, it's almost like, well, I'll just ask and get another one, instead of, man, I had to work really, really hard for this. I'm going to make sure I don't do anything stupid to make sure that I don't have this thing tomorrow.
Right.
And you know, we learn those kind of things as a little kid, but sometimes I feel like we forget as adults that I have to have this struggle, and anything worth having is going to have struggle attached to it. And you know, for some reason, we're trying to eliminate struggle for people. We're trying to eliminate bad feelings and heartache and things. And sometimes, look, if it's unnecessary, sure, we shouldn't be going around and being terrible to other people. But we need challenge. We need, and I personally, I love that feeling of overcoming. When you get over that hump, you climb that wall, and you get to the other side, and you're like, yes, I did it. Nobody handed it to me. It wasn't easy. It wasn't just automatic. I had to work and you know, my own blood, sweat, and tears, and I got here. And now that feeling is more enjoyable than someone saying, here, let me just pull you up and take you right over the wall.
That sense, you know, there's so many ways to look at that, as well as that. Excuse me. That could be almost defeating you. You know, finding ways to kind of overcome things so that it feels easier. That's great, but also understand to embrace those things that are going to show themselves as a struggle. Embracing those things almost makes it easier to overcome those things. Letting yourself know that even though it's there as let's say an obstacle, that you can say, hey, I need this obstacle to happen to me right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to, like we said, appreciate what's going to happen on the other side here. Embracing it, saying, hey, look, this is going to be okay. I'm going to be all right with this. I'm going to be fine. Let's just get this done. Let's head on. And tomorrow's a new day. You know, the next few minutes it's over. It's done. You can put that behind you and grow.
Well, that's the key. Growth is the key, and I feel like if your mindset isn't about growing, and it can be in any way, any shape, and like you were saying about success, there's so many different ways to have whatever your version of success is. You know, you have your version, I have my version, and everybody is so different, and it doesn't always have to be in this big monumental way where the whole world knows about it. It can be, this is what I've done with my life. I wake up every day happy. I wake up every day feeling blessed, and this is what I get to do every single day. And to me, this is success. I got my family. I have my job that I love to do. I have my hobbies that I enjoy doing. And even when things don't go my way, I figure a way around those things. And every day is awesome because of that. You know, I wake up and breathe the air in. And even if it's a cloudy day, then guess what? I'll do something else. I'll work out in the house, or we'll go out and have fun in the rain, dance in the rain. Because it's all about how you look at things. It's all about your perspective.
Yeah, there was an expression told to me a long time ago, and I kind of use it every once in a while. It pokes its head into my kind of psyche every once in a while. It was told to me, even though it wasn't the party you expected, you got to dance anyway. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that part. You know, like, even though it's not what you expect, you're gonna have to go, and you're gonna have to look at it in a positive way. Take what you can from it and use it in a positive way. Dance anyway.
Because there's, we see them all the time where there's people that no matter how great the party is, they're still looking for, I don't like this kind of food, and I don't like this music, and the dance floor is too slippery.
Right? Like, come on, man.
It's like, man, what are you, what are you doing? And it's like, you want to shake these people, and I work very hard now these days to always try to find the positives, find the good things in something, and learn from the things that maybe aren't as desirable. Saying, well, hey, I don't like this part maybe as much, but here's what I can take from it. Because there's always something to be learned. There's always something that you can take from and use as fuel, even on the negative side.
I think as we mature too, that's probably something that, as a younger person, you asked me earlier what's the differences I see with younger people. They have more energy, but as I work with people that are a little bit older, let's just say into their 30s, into their 40s, I find that they have more realistic sort of outlooks, and when I say realistic, it means probably through experience. They realize that it's just not going to be an overnight thing. There's a lot of people that kind of think, let's just call the millennial era, they anticipate, or they kind of expect it, that this is what you should be happening to them because of who and what they are at the moment. Where there's no hard work been put in, there's no toil, there's no experience been given to them or gone through for them to realize where they're at in life. So it's just a matter of time, I think, where people like myself, through experience, through timing, through toil, through just hardship, that I can now use as my balance and say, hey, look, man, my life really is going the way I want it to go, regardless of where I'm at that particular moment. Because there's shitty stuff that happens every day to me, but without knowing that I can get past it, without those experiences that I've had in the past, I wouldn't feel like I'm going to get through this. Or just simple stuff like this is not going to hold me down.
Because that's the difference too, is when you don't know, if something ever happens and you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, versus something happens and you're like, okay, I got this. I just got to do this, and this, and I'll work my way through this.
You do your best with what you have. The best doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. Doesn't mean that it's going to end with rainbows and roses every time. That doesn't mean your best. The best is what you can do with at the moment, with what you have, with everything that you can possibly do at that time, your best. And there, it's a gray area for a lot of people, because a lot of people think my best should be perfect. It's not true.
And then on the reverse side too, sometimes I feel like people say they give their best, but they know in their heart of hearts they didn't give their best. They know that they gave about 30-40%, and then they were like, I'm this is all the effort I'm putting forth. And I feel like there's the dealing with uncomfortableness in life, and it could be just whatever the challenge is. It could be physically uncomfortable, when you start working out, if you're just getting started, you're sore. You're so sore. You get to a level where you've been doing it a while, and you embrace that soreness, and you actually like it, and you feel weird when you don't wake up sore.
Well, you know what's happening. You know why you're sore. You understand. And in itself it's kind of a rush. It's kind of a high. Oh, my muscles broke down. I know tomorrow that tonight I'm going to begin the repair. It's going to be stronger. It's going to be denser. These are the things that I think about. You get off on it
for sure. But a lot of people, I use that as the analogy, but there's a lot of people in life where they want to avoid the soreness at all costs. And so they put forth some effort, and the moment they feel like, oh, this is going to make me sore the next day, or this is going to make my life uncomfortable somehow, they start backing off and they go, well, look, I gave it my all, and it's like, you did, but you didn't. And you can say that you did. You can talk other people into thinking that you did and trick other people, but you know that you didn't. And somehow, some way, that's going to play out in your life as well.
I may be speaking too much out of this, but like usually, in my experience, if I know I gave my or I gave my best, I've never had to look back and say, well, gave it my best.
Right.
It's just that you did. You never have to reinforce it by saying, oh shit, or you know what, I did. I've never had
you're defending it.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it, but I've said, well, I did my best, but in my head, like you said, I knew. I knew.
So you're almost defending it with the words.
Yeah, if you really know that you did your best, you'll never have to say, I did my best.
Yeah, that's a great point. And if anybody ever questions you or doubts that you ever did, you don't even feel like defending it. You're like, bitch, you don't know. I know what I did. I don't need you, and I don't need your approval for it.
Right. There's no point. There's there's a lot of times where yes, I did. Look what I did. Look at here. Look at everything that I did.
Right.
That was my best. I'm like, well. You take that apart, you dissect it a little bit, and like, you could have did this different, you could have did this different, and so be careful when in saying these things. Words are very powerful, and I say it again, man. If you ever have to say that you did your best, it's probably because you didn't.
Well, one of the analogies I use in my house, and my older son, he thinks it's hilarious, is. And I've said this to people at work before. As a manager, I'll ask somebody, "Hey, I need you to get this task done by the end of the day." And they're thinking, "Well, I can't do it. It's not enough time. I can't get it done in a day." I'm like, "Well, if I give you $1,000 to get it done today, could you do it?"
Right.
They go, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "Well, then you can do it." The only thing that changed was your mindset, because you figured that there's something to gain, the incentive at the end of it, right? Well, it's not that it can't be done. I'm not asking you with no machinery and no technology to fly to the moon, right? I'm not asking you to do something that's physically impossible.
Right.
I'm asking you to get a task done. You've already decided that it can't get done. Why? Because it's more effort than what you want to put forward. Now, once I gave you the incentive, saying if I give you $1,000, well, now it's worth the effort, right?
Absolutely.
But the effort can equal the task. So just get it done. And I think we just need to have a better. That's how we have to look at things in our life. That we know what the challenge is, we know what the goal is, we know what the target is, we know the goals that we set for ourselves. Now the effort has to meet to get there by whatever the time frame we've allotted for ourselves.
That's a good point.
And the reward doesn't have to be the $1,000 or the perfect body or the perfect financial stability, whatever it is that day. It just means that you're working your butt off every day, and you are giving it your all. And maybe you're giving 80% some days, but that you're always kind of pushing forward to get to that goal and to reach the goals after that, so you can always look back and go, I'm working hard, I'm doing all the right things, and I'm making the right choices, so that way I can enjoy this life as much as possible. Because people always say, well, if I was Bill Gates and if I was this person, I wouldn't work. But that's why you're not there, because you're already looking at ways to not work. You're not even there. You're not even at that level. The reason why they get to that level is because they don't know how to stop working. They don't know how to shut off the thing that says, hey, I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to go balls to the wall and kick ass every single day. I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to go to bed late and I'm going to go full throttle the whole way. That's why they get to where they are. And I'm not saying you have to be that, because they have a whole different level of drive, even than me. I don't have that kind of drive. But I have the drive to get me where I want to get to with my goals.
The understanding and the awareness of that in itself can propel you into something that you should be in, that will define you as a person, your why.
And if and if it's just, I want to be a stay-at-home parent and take care of my family and my kids, and my house is immaculate and my kids are fed, and I help them with their homework, and I go to all their events for Boy Scouts and for karate class and all this kind of stuff, then great. Then you've done it. And trust me, that takes a lot of focus and planning and struggle, and it's a lot of work. So whatever that level of success is, and if that's how you define it, great. If it's building a business, great. If it's starting a podcast, fine. If it's getting your body to the peak shape, great. It doesn't matter what it is, but just I feel like you have to understand there's going to be challenges. It's going to be hard. I told my son when he graduated from high school, his grandparents want him to go to college, and and other people want him to do this, and some people want him to do that. And he wanted to start his own business at one point, and he still does. But first he went into the military, and I said, look, I'm going to support you no matter what, as long as you're not out there, killing babies or something terrible.
Right.
Whatever it is you're going to do, I'm going to support you, and I'm going to be behind you, and I'm going to cheer you on. Okay. But understand something. Whatever path you pick, if it's college, if it's military, if it's starting your own business, if it's going to be a professional fighter, whatever it is, these are all things that he's looked at. Every path that you pick, I promise you, here's the one thing I promise you, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, and it should be hard. I want it to be hard for you. Yeah. I want it to be challenging because I want you to have to overcome and come out the other side a better human being. Yeah, it'd be great if you're the best fighter, if you're build this crazy awesome business, if you become the next General Patton or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or if you go to college and you become a lawyer and something amazing. Yeah. Those are all great things, but I want you to be a better human being because of the challenges that came before you. I don't want them to be so hard that they beat you down, into the ground. Right. But I want them to be challenging enough that you come out and go, I'm a better person.
Yeah. That's a great point. It really is. I think parenting in itself, unlike myself, I'm not a parent, but listening to you talk about those things, it kind of gives you a sense of warmth and kind of comfort that there are people like yourself that have those tools and that are in positions to kind of bring up our youth. I mean, that's our future. So we really have to be mindful of that in itself. So that's beyond where my mind can go. I have 2 puppies. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
I appreciate that. It's I had this talk with my dad a couple weeks ago or last week. On the podcast is. I used to think I was going to be the nicest, most easygoing parent in the world when I was a kid because I felt like I had the strictest parents, and I wanted things to be easy. And I'm so glad because I know me, I know how I am naturally. I know I have a lazy streak. I know I have a streak of just kind of if you were just to allow me to do whatever I want, I'm not always going to make the right choices. So I'm glad I had strict parents that kept me in line, that kept me focused, and there was always love and there was always support and all those things. But there was a lot of tough love as well. There was a lot of, hey, you can do it, but you're going to have to put forth the work. We're not just going to hand it over to you. Right. And I'm glad that it turned out that way. So I've in turn, now I've become this parent. Ask my kids. I'm sure they'll tell you I'm the meanest parent in the whole world.
Yeah,
but they also know that I'm fair. They also know that I do love them, and I want them to have everything that they want. But I also want them to have to work for it because I'm not giving it to them. And I told them, look, if I had $100 million, your life would be exactly. It would be in a bigger house, but you would have the exact same life. Yeah. You're still gonna have to do chores. I still want you to pick up your plate and take it to the sink and clean your room and do all these things. Like you're gonna have to learn these things. But I want you to have all the amazing things in life that you want to achieve. I also want you to work for those things. And I want that for my friends. I want that for my other family. I want them to have an amazing, wonderful, healthy life. And like I said, healthy, not just physically, not just with the food and things we put in our body, but financially, emotionally, mentally. Yeah. I want them to have great people in their lives, great friends like I have. I got this guy right here who, this is my bro, and we talk about a lot of things, life stuff outside of the health world. Right. And I feel like that's what friends do. We lift each other up. We provide support. For one another, and that's what I want.
As adults too, if there's kids watching, if there's young adults watching, as seemingly mature adults, even this, where we talk, there's things that I want to learn, that I need to learn, just in a human sense, about how to talk to people, about how to interact, about life in general. Mm-hmm. I'm never done learning, and that's one of the things too, is that those hardships that we sometimes get in life. We just spoke briefly about something earlier this morning. It's without those things, we're not going to value what it is that what we deem our success in, and right now I'm going through a season right now where my success is more self-evaluating and self-growth, and I feel that now, and I'm getting that now, and it's actually putting me in a different spot, spiritually, emotionally, physically. I feel like I'm at where I need to be. Sure. But can I do it? Can I know more? Can I learn more about my my physical attributes, how to get my body a certain way? Yeah, I certainly can. But with and putting that aspect down, I've actually opened up doors, more emotional, more spiritual, and those things too will round you out. And again, I'll say the word balance you a little bit better, so that you can appreciate these things that sometimes do kick you in the grass. They kick you down.
Yeah, those things are always out there, and there's a big part of me that is, I'm glad that there's struggle. I talk about this with everybody that's in my life about, if everything was good, if everything was great, even, right? If there's no challenges in life and every day was sunny, everybody was super nice and awesome, everything was great, then what would great be? It would just be normal.
It would be a day.
Yeah, it wouldn't be anything. The reason why it's great, and the reason why the awesome and the fantastic things are what they are, it's because we're weighing them against the terrible, against the absolute awful, and I don't wish those things on people, but we know that they're there, and we've all had struggles and challenges. We all have had, our heads kicked in a little bit by life, and people trying to push us down, and so when we find good people in our life and the good friends that lift us up, we're like, oh, this is a great person because I know what a shitty person looks like and feels like.
The measure, you have to have something to measure it by.
Exactly.
Without that, there's no measure, and there's no value.
No value
to what that what it is that you've seen that is good.
Yeah, and you can't appreciate it. You don't appreciate it. So it's I feel thankful for the challenges. I'm thankful for even the bad people that have come in my life, because now I know how to deal with those people now, because I've had to figure my way around them. But also, I know and I can appreciate when I find great people in my life and hold on to them.
It's powerful that you say that too, and I don't know if we can talk more about it, but if we don't have time, but being thankful. Being thankful, being gracious in those times too. It's very important to find find that way to do that, to sincerely be thankful and be gracious for those things. It sounds kind of hokey. I'm thankful that I'm going through this hardship, or I'm grateful that I had this bad thing happen to me. It sounds hokey. It sounds kind of weird to say it out loud. But without that, like we keep talking about right now, I think the tone of what we're talking about is just making sure that we have this good sense of balance, and we understand that even though it could get shitty at sometimes, the good wouldn't be measured by anything. And we just have to have that and understand that.
Yeah, and understanding that, and like you said earlier too, that kind of comes with experience through life. And it's not always with age, because there's some older people who never learned that lesson, and there's some younger folks who unfortunately have had to learn that throughout their whole life. That they've had from the time they were little kids, this life of turmoil. So all of a sudden they get into their 20s and they really understand what real bad life is. They found an amazing life afterwards, and they can really appreciate it. So it's not always with age. It's just more